Retirement Planning in Kenya, Part 2. This is a series on retirement planning in Kenya. And in Part 1 of this series, we did something uncomfortable, if so to say. We stripped away the myth around retirement in Kenya. We saw that retirement is not a moment, it's a long financial phase where income keeps reducing but life continues. Medical costs go up, family responsibilities don't disappear, inflation keeps moving up, and pensions, while important, they are not designed to carry the full weight of retirement on their own. They need something to help them serve you better. So this raises the real question. If pensions are only a foundation, what actually gets to sustain you for 20, 30 years after you stop working? The answer is not saving more money. The answer is owning the right assets. That is why in this video, we are going to talk about investments that actually help you to build wealth and lifetime income while in retirement in the Kenyan context. So by the end of this video, you will understand why many retirees run out of money, what types of assets matter most and can serve someone well, and number 3, how to think about investment not as returns but as income systems that will give you consistent cash flows during your retirement period. As usual, I've got a core framework to help us understand this. So to understand the retirement investments properly, you need a framework. We need a framework. And for purposes of this video, I will call my framework AIP. AIP. S stands for assets, I stands for income, and P stands for protection. So in a nutshell, when structuring an investment for retirement, you should ask yourself these questions. Is this a real asset that I own? Number 2, does the asset generate enough income, not just growth? And number 3, does it protect me against inflation, illness, and time? So A, assets, I, income, and P, protection. You must have an asset, and the asset must give you income, and the asset must offer protection for you. Now, if an investment fails in 2 of these 3 tests, it might not be suitable for retirement, no matter how popular it is. Now that you have got the framework in mind, I want us to look at 4 categories of retirement investments that actually matter. And as we go through these investments, mark them against our framework AIP so that you see how they'll be able to serve you during that time. I've got 4 categories. Category number 1 is money and paper assets. Category number 2 is physical and real assets. Category number 3, we have got business assets. And then category number 4, we have got intellectual property and market assets. So we shall go through each of these categories, and as I go through them, I'll be explaining why they are necessary. So money and paper assets, category 1. What does this include? This includes treasury bills, treasury bonds, money market funds, fixed income funds, and in some cases, annuities. The purpose of these assets is not wealth creation. Get me very well from the first point. The purpose of paper assets is not wealth creation. Their sole role is stability, to make sure to create stability, and then predictability, and number 3, liquidities. So the function of paper assets is to create stability, to ensure you can predict predictability and then liquidity. When you go through these assets, be it treasury bills, treasury bonds, money market funds, fixed income funds, and some annuities, they fit inside stability, they fit inside predictability, and they fit inside liquidity. What do these assets do? These assets, they do the following. They protect your capital. Remember, you can't afford to lose money at this age. So one thing that you always look at is capital preservation. And these paper assets, they do that very well. So they protect your capital so that you don't lose it. They give you a steady, low stress income. And number 3, they act as a financial shock absorber during retirement. Many people make a financial critical mistake. They take pension as a lump sum and immediately start chasing high returns. And remember, anytime we talk about investment, I always say investments come with their fair share of risk. So if you take a lump sum and start chasing high returns, if it goes under, then the better part of your retirement will be affected. So that is why I keep saying that at retirement, the goal is not to grow fast. The goal is not to lose money, because once you lose money, it affects you in so many different ways. Money market funds and government securities will not make you rich, but they'll do the following. They'll pay you on time, predictability. They preserve your capital preservation, and they'll give you breathing room or breathing space. Think of this category, the paper assets, as your financial spine, your financial backbone. Without it, every other investment becomes stressful. Category number 2, physical and real assets. Now, these are things that are tangible, things that you can touch, not technically, but tangible. This includes rental properties, land, and income generating agriculture. These assets serve different purpose. What they do, that is their main role, is to fight inflation. Real assets tend to do something. They tend to hold value over time because they are normally tied to real economic activity. That's why if we talk about rental property, about land, about agriculture, they are tied to real economic activity. But the truth that is rarely discussed is this: real estate is not passive. Tenants might move out, repairs do happen, proper taxes do rise, and vacancies reduce the expected income. That is why it's very difficult to predict. And many retirees, they overconcentrate here. They take all their money and fix it in rentals, because when you overconcentrate on rentals alone, yes, physically you feel safe, but when we start talking about predictability, rental properties or assets, they tend to lose that feature. Safety is not about what you can touch. Safety is about consistent cash flow. So the correct way to think about real estate is this: cash flow first. Think about cash flow first, appreciation second, and ego last. Let me just clarify that. If a property does not pay you reliably, it becomes a liability in old age and not an asset. Real assets belong in a retirement plan, but they must be chosen carefully. Category number 3, these are what we call business assets. In the course of your working time, you started a business, or you started a venture, you started a consulting firm that's able to serve you down the line. Now, this is where income potential becomes high and where mistakes are very expensive. Businesses assets include the following: operating businesses, you own them and you operate them yourself. We also have silent partnerships where you are part of a business, but you are a silent partner. When the company pays dividends, you get some payment. It also includes franchises where you can have a franchise, or it also includes dividend paying private companies. When you buy shares or stock in a company and you become part of that company, you are a silent owner of that company. The mistake that people make is assuming that owning a business automatically means income, not factoring in the challenges that come with running a business. So the truth is, if the business depend on your daily presence, like you have to be there on a daily basis, then it's not a retirement asset. It's a full-time job that you've put yourself in. Retirement friendly businesses have got systems around them. They have got structure so that they are able to run and generate income without requiring your physical energy every single day. Because once they start requiring you to be present every day for them to run effectively, they lose the meaning. You come from one job and essentially tied yourself to another job. This category of business assets can produce strong monthly income, but it must be approached with care, with caution, and with discipline. In retirement, control matters more than growth. So, ownership without exhaustion is the real goal here. Own a business, yes. Own businesses, yes. But at the back of your mind, put structures in place, put systems in place so that the business can run without you and runs effectively. Category number 4, the last category, is what we call intellectual and market assets. This fourth category is the most underutilized category, but it's the most often powerful. Intellectual and financial market assets. Now, this includes things like dividend paying stocks. You own part of the company, and so they keep paying you. Talk about ETFs, talk about royalties, talk about digital products or content based income. You write books and you get to sell those books. It's your intellectual property. You have got frameworks that can be used. That's your intellectual property. You have got courses that you created. They pay you handsomely. That is intellectual property. So these assets are portable, they are scalable, and often less they are physically demanding as compared to jobs. This is where professionals, consultants, and any other skilled workers have got an advantage. Why? Because they have got a skill that they can use to package their knowledge and sell to a willing buyer. So the formula here is very simple. You have got a skill. We'll demonstrate that we have got a skill, then we have got an asset that will lead to an income. So you use your skill to create an asset, and the asset will give you income. For example, you are a consultant in the field of health. So your skill, you have got, you are knowledgeable about health. How can people keep themselves healthy, physical health? What does your asset become? You start a coaching program, or you create a course or a comprehensive mastermind on your skills, and then you consistently sell that course, or you consistently have people on a subscription based model where each and every month they pay you. Therefore, a skill will be converted into an asset, and that asset, the course or the coaching program, will be able to pay you long after formal employment ends. If you are a teacher, you create courses in your area of expertise and you keep selling those courses. Or you can create a mastermind, or you can create a masterclass and you keep selling that for a long period of time. This category allows income to continue even when the physical strength reduces. We talk about passive income, and this is a great category of passive income. You create something once and it pays you consistently for a very long period of time. How should you think about asset mix? We've talked about the four categories. So instead of thinking or asking yourself, what percentage should I go where? Or what percentage should go where? How much should I invest here, here, or here? Ask a better question. And the better question is this: what pays me monthly? Question number 2: what protects me from inflation? Number 3: what grows quietly over time? And then question number 4: what survives if I get sick? I'll repeat those questions so that you just get them well. What pays me monthly? Income. What protects me from inflation? Protection. What grows quietly over time? Appreciation. And what survives if I get sick? Assurance. So retirement investing is not about maximizing returns. It's about removing financial stress from your later years and enabling you to retire peacefully and thrive without depending on other people. As we conclude, retirement is not about having money or having more money. It's about owning systems and owning assets and owning structures, having structures in place that replace your salary once your income stops. Pensions will start the journey, yes, but as we said in part 1, they are just not enough. Assets will finish the journey for you. In the next video, we are going practical, and I'll show you how to think about building a 50,000 as well as 100,000 monthly retirement income in Kenya, a step-by-step process, because awareness without action changes completely nothing. And that's the end of this video, the part 2. I'll see you in the next video, part 3. Thank you, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye for now.